This is Faith Under Fire. We take you straight to the voices on the front lines of religious battlegrounds. I'm news anchor Sarah Harnisch, and with me today, HSLDA defense attorney Will Estrada. We're talking homeschool freedom. You are at the center of a homeschool rights case in Illinois right now, and we've watched it play out on news stations across the country. Parents there could face jail time if they don't meet new requirements laid out by the state on homeschool reporting. New York is also a volatile state to homeschool in. The Homeschool Legal Defense Association lists it as one of only 4 red states in the entire nation. Tell me about the letter of substantial equivalence bill that you are working on to protect homeschoolers in the Empire State that's in the legislature right now.
It's great to be working with Leah and the homeschoolers who are defending homeschool freedom in Albany. New York has one of the most highly regulated homeschool laws, and this bill that's been introduced is really just a simple bill. It says a homeschool student could receive a letter of substantial equivalence, which would be used to verify that they followed the homeschool law and that they are a homeschool graduate. This would fix the issues for college enrollment or college admission, jobs, and other issues where homeschool high school diplomas are sometimes looked at as scams.
How does this protect homeschoolers in New York State?
It will make it easier for homeschool high school graduates to be able to get into college, to be able to get a job, to be able to work for New York State government. The interesting thing is I was homeschooled for a couple of years in New York State, then homeschooled the rest of my K-12 homeschool education in Pennsylvania. But I graduated with a LEA chapter in Binghamton, New York. And homeschool graduates, they do great work. Their homeschool parent-issued high school diplomas should not be treated as a second-class credential, and that's what this bill will fix.
There's another bill that's in the works. It's called the Fair Play Bill. And I've always been a firm believer that if you're paying school taxes and you have school-aged children, they should be allowed to take part in extracurricular activities. So tell me a little bit more about this bill.
The interesting thing, Sarah, is if you cross the border and go into Pennsylvania, you as a homeschooler who lives in Pennsylvania have the legal right to play sports on a public school team, to do extracurriculars and co-curriculars like band and music, and even to do career and technical education in the local public schools. Obviously, every parent needs to decide what's best for their child, but it gives families that freedom if they want to do it. They're paying their taxes. They really should not be discriminated against, and that's what this bill would seek to improve for New York State homeschoolers.
Can you give me some specifics about what you're doing in Albany today? How do you get the ears of lawmakers when you're walking through the Capitol?
Legislators love talking to kids and families, and they especially like it when they're talking to people who are not asking for more money, for major legislation. The message we have today in Albany is simple. Leave us alone. Treat homeschoolers fairly. And the interesting thing you referenced at the beginning of our talk, the bill that we've been fighting in Illinois, we need to have engaged homeschoolers because thankfully we've not seen a bad bill like the one in Illinois introduced in Albany, but that always could happen. And so when legislators are asked to support a bill that could roll back homeschool freedom, I want them to think of the smiling kids, the happy families, and say, I don't want to regulate homeschoolers. I got to meet with them. I saw that they're doing well. Let's continue to keep homeschooling free.
States keep standing right on the line of parental freedom. Why is it so important to keep pursuing cases just like these?
It really goes down to whom do children belong. I recently wrote a law review about parental rights in Jewish, Christian, and Islamic scriptures, and all 3 agreed that God created the family and that our rights don't come from government, they come from our Creator. And that's really what the heart of this battle is. Who will make the decisions for minor children? When we're defending homeschool freedom, we're standing right there with that incredible and important right of parents to be able to make these decisions as opposed to government bureaucrats.
New York has the second largest homeschool population of any state in America. But many days the parents here feel very alone and very limited in their resources. Can you tell me one of of your wins at HSLDA? What's one of your favorite stories to encourage parents living in the Empire State?
I'm going to share two. The first one is in 2012, I was HSLDA's federal lobbyist, and we were able to get in a bipartisan bill to the annual National Defense Authorization Act to ensure that homeschool graduates, so homeschool high schoolers, could enlist in the U.S. military just like any public or private school graduate. That bill went through unanimously. It was signed into law by then President Obama, and it fixed decades of discrimination against homeschoolers who wanted to serve their nation in the U.S. Armed Forces. It's a reminder that homeschooling has strong bipartisan support. And then the second story I want to share is what we've seen just this year in Illinois. When this bad bill, HB 2827, was introduced, there were many people who told me there'll be no way to defeat this, just focus on representing families in court. And we worked with local homeschoolers. 8,500 homeschoolers came out to the Capitol. The fire marshal had to shut it down. They wouldn't let anyone else in. And because of that defense of freedom, that bill is currently stalled and looks like it's going to die this year in Illinois. So we never give up when it comes to parental rights and homeschool freedom.
Learn more at hslda.org and leah.org.